Welcome to r/entitled parents, where your entitled aunt ruined your great grandma's funeral. So just to put in perspective, I'm an only child at about 15 at the time. Even though I don't have siblings, I have gotten really close to my 5 cousins who are from my Aunt S. She is amazing, by the way. Not the crazy aunt at all. So every time we're at a family function, I hang out with my cousins. They're basically my siblings, especially because we grew up together. This'll matter later on, I swear. My crazy aunt has like 8 kids now, but maybe 6 at the time. She was never fond of me or my cousins, and when we'd be in family functions, my cousins and I would try to keep distance because if we talked to her kids, she'd eventually scream at us. "Let him play with your toys." Or if I was talking to one kid, she'd get angry for no reason saying, "Stop ignoring my other kid." I wasn't ignoring anyone at all. I was just trying to have a conversation with one at a time, like a normal human being. But no matter what we did, we learned it got us into trouble, so we stopped trying. But this lady, she is awful. To give you an idea, I severely sprained my ankle down south, to a point I was unable to walk, and my uncle had to tow me up to his hotel room using a luggage carrier. So on the bed, I had an ice pack. I was unsure if I broke my ankle, but my grandma really wanted to see her son at the hotel, and hospitals are expensive, so we skipped going there, and I agreed even though I was in a lot of pain, just for the sake of my grandma. Anyway, the ice pack leaked without me knowing. It ended up getting the sheets wet. Entitled Aunt was furious. She was yelling at me. Entitled Aunt, "These are wet. Why are they wet?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. The bag must have leaked." "You didn't notice? How didn't you notice?" "I'm sorry. Maybe you could get housekeeping. They would replace them quickly." "Housekeeping? Oh, how thoughtful. Thanks so much," she said, still yelling and being really sarcastic. So, anyways, yeah, Entitled Aunt is super pissed and always tries to find ways to yell at my cousin and me. And more than once, she blamed me for stuff I never did. But this story takes the cake. So this was at my great-grandma's funeral, and I saw Entitled Aunt walk in, and my closest cousin and me were together. I just had this bad feeling in my stomach. So before even walking in, I tell my parents and my cousin, "Oh no, I hope she doesn't try to blame anything on me this time. Like, just once, I really hope not." My parents reassure me, saying that it won't happen because we're at a funeral. And yeah, that's probably true, right? Wrong. But my cousin, I remember her saying this to me. "I'll be with you the whole time, so no matter what happens to you, she'll have to pull me into it." She gave me a smile, and I felt better knowing my cousin was on my side. But only if she knew how true her words were. So we look at photo collages, listen to the sermon, and drive down to the cemetery for the burial. And of course, everyone's crying. I'm crying, my cousins are crying, really, everyone. I mean, I think anyways, I wasn't paying attention too much to other people. So after the burial, we start heading back for lunch. And the only drama I had heard so far is that Entitled Aunt really wanted to leave already. She kept trying to make excuses saying her and her kids were exhausted, and they wanted to go to the hotel already. It was kind of rude, but I didn't care too much because at least she wasn't targeting me. So as my cousin and I hop in the car and drive back with my parents to where the sermon was held, we chat about everything and try to cheer each other up. Talk about how at least we can all eat together. As soon as we get out of the doors and walk in, about 3 adults basically pounce on my cousin and me, and we're really confused as to what's going on as they looked so concerned and or pissed. And that's when I hear, "Did you guys laugh at Entitled Aunt's kid?" I think my grandma asked. My cousin and I look over at each other baffled. Me, "What? What do you mean?" "Did you laugh at her at the funeral? Entitled Aunt said she saw you and cousin giggling to each other, making jokes, and pointing, making fun of Entitled Aunt's kid for crying." I was so confused and paused trying to process everything. "What? No! Me and cousin were crying too. Why would I laugh at a 6-year-old for crying at a funeral?" And then it hit me. I knew this would happen. I knew she'd pull something. I kind of whispered angrily to my cousin. At this point, I started crying, and I don't know if it was out of anger or shock. Both maybe. But my poor cousin, who's like 12 at the time, is bawling, trying to explain how entitled aunt is always trying to pin stuff on us. This caused a whole ordeal. Entitled aunt started yelling at her husband and anyone else about how she was disgusted at what we did, and how she demanded to leave immediately. And that's when I realized that she blamed us so she could leave early. That since her other excuses didn't work, she made some stupid, cruel story about us. So adults left and right are coming up to my cousin and me, some getting angry and some taking our side, most trying to figure out what's happening. So my cousin is bawling so much she can't speak, and I started having an anxiety attack, too overwhelmed to process what's happening. We go to the table of Aunt S and 4 other cousins, and immediately my cousin Andrew knows something's up, as the drama hasn't spread to everyone yet. Andrew, what happened? He was super concerned, and I explained everything, and boy was he furious. Andrew, nope. She can say crap about me, but she's pulling my sister and my cousin into it. That crosses a line. My cousin M chimed in, trying to calm me down. I can't believe she did that, making my little sister cry, and you're like our sibling too. That is so messed up. Here, just stay at our table and try to eat something, okay? Screw anyone who believes that. So my cousin and I calmed down a bit, but it didn't last long. My uncle, stepdad, and mom are arguing and call my cousin and me over. My uncle is also a big jerk. He once yelled at me for 10 minutes straight for calling him his first name instead of uncle. And that confused me, because in our family, I call most of my aunts and uncles by their first name. That was the normal. So he and entitled aunt are perfect for each other, to say the least. Anyways, he gets in our face about it all. Uncle, did you laugh at my daughter? No, why would I do that? Well, one of you is lying, and I don't think it's my wife. Are you calling my wife a liar? I remember that line clearly because of how mortified I was. I didn't know what to say. He was pissed. So my cousin flees panicking, and my other cousins come over to end this nonsense. My uncle ends up leaving with entitled aunt and their kids, getting exactly what she wanted. So this whole event actually ruined the funeral. It was all everybody talked about for the day. If we made fun of a little girl for crying, or if my uncle and aunt were bullying children. I feel bad for my grandpa, because he was very disappointed that his mom's funeral got twisted around into petty drama. At the hotel, surprise, surprise, I saw her there, super happy about everything. And my mom and dad confronted them eventually, telling them not to speak to us again, and we ignored them the rest of the time we were there. So yeah, entitled aunt is a very entitled parent, who blamed my cousin and me just to get out of a funeral. Hope you're happy, Donna. No way. This is so messed up. I hope the family ended up believing OP and her cousins in the end. I never understood why entitled people act this way. Seriously, she could have just said bye and left without making a scene. Donna, you are a jerk. Anyways, on to the next story. But first, do me a favor and pound that like button. Some context here. I host a weekly Dungeons & Dragons game at a game store near my hometown. I'm friends with the owner and employees at the store and have been doing this for several months now. I run a fairly beginner-friendly game, and we advertise it on the website and on signs around the store to get people interested. This has all gone pretty well so far, and I've made some good friends of my regular players while having a large rotating cast of newbies that drop in and out of the game. Well, as I'm setting up for my game last week, in comes entitled mom with her 3 children, all aged between 4 and 8 if I had to guess. Well, entitled mom has a quick chat with the owner as he points in my direction, and she comes over to me. She asks if I'm in charge of the game night, and I say yes I am. She then tells me, doesn't ask, that her kids will be participating. I explain that I'm at table capacity for my game that night, so I wouldn't be able to accommodate 3 more players. She says that's okay, they'll just watch then. I say that's fine. I explain the rough start and end times of the session, and she nods absent-mindedly while she scrolls away on her phone, before sitting down at the table next to me with the kids. Well, about 20 minutes later, my players are all here and taking their places at the table. I'm not even halfway through my typical greeting and explanation of the game for that night before Entitled Mom has gotten halfway to the door of the game store. This is the exchange once I notice this. Ma'am, aren't you forgetting something? Cue me, pointing to her 3 kids just sitting at the table, half asleep at this point. Entitled Mom, I'll be back at 10 to pick them up. Just make sure they behave, alright? She's not even looking up from her phone, still walking away. Me, I'm not a babysitter. You need to take your children with you if you're leaving. I have things to do. Just don't let them get into any trouble and they'll be fine. The owner is now noticing what's happening. No, ma'am, we're not going to be responsible for watching your children for you. Please take them with you when you leave. Fine, I guess I'll just have to tell their father that date night is ruined because a bunch of effing nerds couldn't keep an eye on 3 kids for a few hours. Pathetic. Owner, ma'am, there are children in the store, pointing to some of my younger players, and I'd appreciate you not using that language in here. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Now. Entitled Mom turning bright red and grabbing her children, rushing out. Oh, F off, you jerk. Entitled Mom then leaves, and I spend the next few minutes talking with my players about the whole situation, before we get back into the game. So that was horrible, but on the plus side, I think I have an idea for an evil hag character my players can take on next week. So, I've never been to a D&D game like this before. Have you? Do you think something like this could actually happen? Let me know in the comments below. On to the next story. And it's a wholesome story, guys, so I hope you brought your happy face with you. The title of the story is, Thought I was gonna have an Entitled Mom interaction over my Nintendo Switch. Ended up being a very pleasant and wholesome experience. I was on a bus with some other people, when a boy who looked to be about 7 came up to me. Kid, is that a Nintendo Switch? Yeah, it is. Cool. I've always wanted one. What game are you playing? Smash. Can I play? Sure. We played for a few rounds, and every time he won, he got really excited, which was kind of cute. After like 30 minutes of playing, his mom came up to us. Mom, honey, could you go back to our seats for a bit? Kid, yep. Me, can I do something for you? Kid's mom then looked at me with a pleasant expression. Kid's mom, my son looked like he was having fun. Me, yeah. Mom, quietly, well, it's almost his birthday. Me internally, crap, 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 crap. Kid's mom, and I was planning on buying him one. What games would you recommend? I was kinda shocked. I was expecting my son is having fun. Give him your Switch. Or something. I ended up suggesting games like Splatoon 2, Smash, Pokemon Let's Go, Mario Kart, and Kirby Star Allies. Kid's mom, thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Me, no problem. Kid's mom, alright kid, say thank you. Kid, thanks. It was a nice experience, and I hope that kid got his Switch and is having fun. Aww, I love how OP was expecting an entitled mom, but ended up getting a super sweet mom. I added this wholesome story because you guys seem to love the Jerry story from the last I Don't Work Here Lady video. Should I keep these wholesome endings coming? Tell me what you think about that in the comment section below. Well, that wraps up another video. If you found this video at all entertaining, then please hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe for more videos like this one. See you guys in the next video.